The other thing that I've worked really hard on then is safety. And so there were a couple of things that I thought were really, really important. One of them is to fill up our classes at the academy. And so while all of my colleagues were very supportive of that, I took the lead to find money in the budget to make sure we could do that. Okay. And then the other important safety thing that I've worked on, two of them really, Colfax Avenue runs from one end of the city to the other end of the city. It runs through, depending on how you count them, 13 to 15 neighborhoods, and 110,000 people live on either side of it. 20 DPS schools are within 4 blocks of Colfax Avenue. When children start skipping school in the 4th and 5th grade, 4 blocks is their walkable distance. That's why you can always find them. Right. Straight to Colfax. That we had allowed it to become a tenderloin in the heart of our city was intolerable. Intolerable. And so when I got elected, I realized, after campaigning around the city, that of the people who got elected, there were 9 of us who had campaigned on Colfax. And 9 is a very important number in our system. We are 13 council members. It takes 7 to pass anything. It takes 9 to override a veto. If 9 of us are committed to something, the discussion is over. And so we went to the mayor and said, 9 of us are concerned about this. We want a plan, systematic, hard-working, right away, to get started on Colfax. And he asked me to talk with John Huggins, who was his brilliant economic development head, and a friend of mine who had worked with me in economic development, I don't know, for 10 years, a wonderful person. And John came up with a plan for targeted economic development into signature projects, he called them. The first one of those was the renovation of the Bonfils Lowenstein Theater, where you see the tattered cover now. Very exciting to push economic development in both directions on either side.
Right. And that is really exciting. I love the new tattered cover. So what's next in the redevelopment of Colfax? Because, well, it certainly is getting better. It's still
needs a lot. It needs a lot. I think that you'll probably see the next big signature project on the west side in Rick Garcia's district, near District 3, which used to be Rosemary Rodriguez's district. We're pushing on all ends very hard on safety and are committed to taking the broken windows policing model citywide. And so that should really help us push out more of the crime and not just move it from Colfax to Sheridan or Colfax to Federal, but really attack it. So we're going to see rezoning, Main Street rezoning. Elber Wedgeworth and Jeannie Robb pioneered this new zoning from Broadway to Colorado. And the reason it's important is Colfax, like Federal, like Sheridan, like 38th, are old state highways. And they developed in the 30s. And they have narrow lot lines and small pieces of property. And it's not the way business conceives of operating in 2007, or frankly in 1990 even. And that's why the decay happened, because the sizes of the lots were so shallow and they bumped right up against neighborhoods, and we needed a whole new zoning design and a different concept for how you can redevelop and bring healthy activity back to the street, and that's what Main Street zoning is about. So on the zoning side, from Colorado to Yosemite, Marcia and Jeannie Robb's section, you're going to see Main Street coming on soon. I think you're going to see Main Street, some sections of Federal already on 38th, and you will see some of it on the west side. The west side will be spurred a lot by the Fast Tracks development. That first west corridor line runs down 13th, but the spillover economic impetus will really push itself up toward Colfax.
Okay. Now, just for people who don't know, can you describe in layman's terms what exactly the Main Street zoning means?
So instead of tiny little buildings with one shop for 126 blocks, which is economically unsustainable, Main Street supports, depending on whether you're Main Street 1, 2, or 3, higher up to 3 stories. So you have mixed use with some business, some office, some residential, some cultural activities, some nodes where you can go deeper and do something that's more like a little shopping district or a little commercial district. And those tend to be on those old trolley line nodes, you know, where you see like Mayfair and 14th and some of the others. Those were old trolley stops.
Okay.
Pearl Street, those. And that's why the zoning was kind of carved out differently compared to the houses that are around it. So it's mixed use, and it varies, and it allows developers a little less parking. We're thinking we may have to do a parking district here or there and build some structured parking. That's one of the strengths that the Lowenstein redevelopment gave us, is at the back of that lot behind the new building next to the old one is structured parking. It makes them expensive to build, and they need some city help. But then that alleviates the problem of the structure from the 1930s and the 1940s that is hard to work with in the modern economy, and will bring back street life to Colfax. And healthy activity, strong families, good economy drives out that kind of urban disorder that we've been seeing that we have to make go away.
Okay. And Carol, is there anything else that you'd like to say to voters?
Get your ballot in by May 1. This is an all-mail ballot. If you haven't received it in the mail, call the Election Commission and go pick up your ballot.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Carrie. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.